Hey, do you want to win a PS5 with Madden NFL 21 and NBA 2K21? We'll be announcing the winner December 28th, so be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and watch the video all the way until the end to enter the giveaway. The easiest way to start a long argument is to mention your opinion on the greatest basketball player of all time. It's easy to say there are two distinct sides to this conversation, those who stand with Michael Jordan and those who fight for LeBron James. But many other players have had their names tossed in the ring. So who do the current crop of NBA players consider the greatest player of all time? According to a 2019 anonymous survey from The Athletic, 73% of the 127 players surveyed chose Jordan as the GOAT, compared to just 12% for James. Kobe Bryant garnered 10.6% of the vote and has become the popular third option behind the leading contenders. Kobe's former teammate Shaquille O'Neal said the late guard deserved to be respectfully added to the conversation, but few went to bat for Bryant like Colin Sexton. There are three of them. You can't really say one is the GOAT because of all the different time eras. Gotta say Kobe, LeBron, MJ. Don't think there's just one person. Don't know how LeBron would have played in MJ's era or Kobe in MJ's era. They're the GOATs in their eras, Sexton told Bleacher Report in 2020. Kevin Durant also showed off his respect for Kobe, marveling at the way he moved on the basketball court. The man who Durant said scared him to death at the end of games is up there in the GOAT debate for him as well, telling The Athletic, "I get to play with Steph Curry every day, so I know his game inside and out. But watching Kobe and Mike, I'm like, how do you not realize how good these dudes are? How do you not say they're by far better than anybody who's played the game? Just by the way they move, how fluid they are." As much as Kobe deserves to be in the conversation, the debate has always centered on MJ and LeBron. Every accomplishment James checks off the bucket list becomes another chance to rehash the debate. In the wake of his fourth championship last season, LeBron was asked again about his place in the game's history, and he blew right by the question. The debates can happen. Y'all can talk about it. I'll talk about it with my guys when we at home, our friends and all that stuff. But I'm not gonna give it to y'all. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fall for it. You guys know how much I love Michael Jordan. I wear the number 23 because of Michael Jordan. When I first got my first pair of Jordans, you couldn't tell me nothing. So y'all can do the debates, y'all can figure that out. Jordan had a similar philosophy during his playing career when he was compared to players like Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, and Wilt Chamberlain. He was a little more blunt in saying no when asked if his championships moved him past those greats. But he also said he doesn't think there's ever going to be an actual answer to the question. That's something I really can't say can be established, Jordan said. Each one of us played in a different era with different teams with different levels of success. So to compare all of them and say one is better than the next is an unfair justice to the artists. Even after his retirement, Jordan stayed humble in regards to this conversation, telling Michael Wilbon, "I don't want it, in a sense, because I think it disrespects Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, you know, all those guys that, prior to me, I never had a chance to play against. What everybody is saying I am, I never had the chance to compete against other legends that was prior to me. When I hear it, I cringe a little bit, because it's a little bit embarrassing, because no one knows. I never had the chance to, once again, to play against those guys." Jordan continues, "I would love to have played against them, but I never did. And for you to say that I'm better than him, I mean, it's your opinion. It's their opinion. I accept that as their opinion. If you ask me, I would never say that I'm the greatest player. That's because I never played against all the people that respected the league prior to Michael Jordan." As for how the current crop of NBA players feel about the debate, very few have actually gone on the record about their thoughts. But playing in the LeBron James era has certainly sparked an appreciation for the titan of the game. From the veterans who have been playing with and against LeBron for most of his career to the new guns who still idolize him, the respect for James is at an all-time high. He's one of, if not the smartest players ever to play in the NBA, JJ Redick said of LeBron. The way he understands the game, sees the game, it's all because of how smart he is. He is the definition of a basketball genius. Anthony Davis had a front row seat to James' greatness this past season as they teamed up to bring a championship back to LA. He's in a difficult spot though as someone who grew up in Chicago at the height of MJ's dominance with the Bulls. When asked by ESPN's Rachel Nichols to weigh in on the debate, Davis called LeBron different as he tried to hedge his answer with James present and listening in on the response. "I'm from Chicago, so I love Michael Jordan. All I can say is that it's a tough-ass debate. Like we gotta speak facts. And LeBron definitely made a case for himself by winning this championship tonight." For many of the younger players in the league, they grew up at the tail end of MJ's career and have watched LeBron mature into the player he is today. So there is a heavy slant in LeBron's direction among those just entering the NBA. When TNT broadcasted the 2019 All-Star Game, they had a segment on who the rookies from the Rising Stars game thought was the greatest. There were a few MJ loyalists, but many of them ended up choosing LeBron. He's so dynamic and he's so unselfish that he's able to get all of his teammates involved while dominating where he has to, Jaren Jackson Jr. said in the piece. Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas might be a little biased considering he is known for his rivalry with Michael Jordan in the 1990s. The Last Dance taught us that there is still some chilly air between Thomas and MJ, but I'm not sure it colored his feelings when he took James' side in the GOAT debate after this most recent championship. He tweeted out a video of James and wrote, "The best and most complete player I have seen in my lifetime is King James on and off the floor. He passed the eye test and the numbers confirm what my eyes have seen in every statistical category. Hashtag GOAT, let it be known." LeBron has changed someone's mind on the topic, however. Hall of Famer Allen Iverson. In 2018, AI wrote in the Players Tribune, "First of all, I love LeBron. I have nothing but love for LeBron. That's the best player of his generation. One of the best ever. A great husband, great father, great role model, and it's even beyond that. What he's doing with that school in Akron, it's a beautiful thing. But y'all, we're talking about Mike. We're talking about Mike, okay? We're talking about Black Jesus himself, and I don't really have much more to say beyond that. Mike is the GOAT. Mike is always going to be the GOAT. And please don't even insult me with any of this stats AI business, like you have a chance of changing my mind." 2 years later, Iverson was singing a different tune in an interview with The Big Joe Show. Before LeBron even won his 4th title, Iverson said, "As much as I love Michael Jordan, man, LeBron James is the one. He's the one, man. That is the one." Of course, there are traditionalists like Luka Doncic and Zion Williamson who both chose Jordan as the GOAT because that is how they were raised. Williamson said he chose Jordan because he grew up watching Jordan highlights, and those sentimental feelings will impact a person's thoughts on the subject. Damian Lillard thought the same thing in 2017 in a tweet. Even though Lillard has not publicly chosen sides, he has continued to hint at both sides of the argument. In that tweet from 2017, Damian said some people are going to be too stubborn to back off the idea that MJ is the GOAT. "I don't think people will ever be able to admit someone is better than Jordan, even if they are, lol," Lillard wrote. However, in answering some questions from fans in October 2020, he was asked to list 3 attributes he would take from anyone in the history of the game. He said he would take Jordan's athleticism. When fans questioned him on why he thought MJ was more athletic than LeBron, he simply tweeted, "The way Jordan moved was different." But if you go further back in the arc of NBA history, the overwhelming consensus is MJ is the greatest of all time. In the minds of some greats, the debate isn't even that close. Hakeem Olajuwon falls in that camp, as he told CNBC when asked about his opinions on the topic, "When people start comparing with Jordan, then that's not a fair comparison. Jordan was a far more superior player in a very tough league, and he was very creative. That's not taking anything away from LeBron because he is a great player, but it is not a fair comparison because Jordan is a far superior player." The debate is definitely tighter in O'Neal's mind for the greatest player of all time, but even he has to side with Jordan. He said the perfect record in the NBA Finals is part of it, but that MJ was also a bulldozer who plowed the way for the best players in today's game to shine. Because Michael paved the way for all the great guys we have now, 6-0 in the finals without a legitimate big man, went through a lot, took a year off, came back and won 3 more in a row. He's definitely the greatest player. Jerry West will forever be iconic because he is literally the face of the NBA as the league's logo. But when discussing who might eventually replace him as the logo in 2015, he came out definitively in the GOAT debate. I hate to say it's not a Laker, but Michael Jordan. He's been the greatest player I've ever seen, and I'm probably a harsh judge of talent in the sense that I admire players that are really good defensive players and really good offensive players. And I felt that at his time in the game, he was the best defensive player in the game, but more importantly, he was the best offensive player, and he made his teams win. Who do you think is the greatest player of all time? Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.